Welcome back to Superior Sunrise. Like I said, another special guest. This show's full of special guests today. Dawn Smith, you are no exception to that with CBB. I want to thank you for coming this morning and joining us. I know you brought your sweet wife with you, and we are just glad to have you both here today. Well, let's dive right into it. Let's talk about the beef checkoff, what it's about for all those people at home who aren't aware of the beef checkoff. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because, you know, it was kind of unusual to me. I had a phone call one night from a guy that I know real well. And he said, you know, I've been seeing these things about the beef checkoff. And I said, what's checkoff? Is it something I should be doing? This guy's an engineer with Flowserve International. You know, never owned a cow, don't know which end of the cow's up, you know, but it is. And most people don't know what the checkoff is. It's a promotion thing. Beef producers in the United States pay $1 a head that go in to what we call the checkoff to fund programs that will promote beef and do an awful lot. We have about a $40 million budget. Wow. And that's down because, as you know, we've had drought in the country and the cow herd's smaller, but that's down. Here in Texas, we pay $2 a head, so we have twice the money here in Texas. Of course, the Texas money, half of it goes to the national program, which is the Cattlemen's Beef Board. And they're the people, there's 100 producers that's on the Cattlemen's Beef Board. They're appointed by the Secretary of Agriculture, and they serve at his discretion, and they are the people that plan how we spend our money, and then other organizations and other schools and whatnot actually do the work. But CBB is a group of producer folks that take care of the money.
Well, let's talk about your background a little bit in the cattle business and how you got involved with CBB.
Well, that's a good question. I've been in cattle all my life, since I was just a tot. Our family's had cattle. My wife and I dairied in Hopkins County for 50 years. We just sold our dairy last year, but we've always had beef cows too. And of course, about 20% of the beef in this country comes from dairy animals. So we've been involved in the beef thing. And now we have a cow-calf operation in Hopkins County, and we call it the Star Ridge Land and Cattle Company. And but we got involved through the Texas Beef Council. Really, we got some exposure there. We've served on the Texas Beef Council and served 7 years on NCBA on the executive committee. And I was really surprised over the years that I was able to serve on CBB. But they called, some of the producer organizations here in the state called and said, Don, would you be willing to let your name be put up and be a producer on the Cattlemen's Beef Board? And I said, well, go for it if you want to. You know, we're willing to do whatever, but because we want to promote beef. And you know, the rest is history. The secretary saw enough, I guess, in my application and who was behind me, and appointed me. And we just started really in February, but wow. It's been really a revelation to us how it works. We went to the winter meetings and participated in developing the budget. So we're going to I said the winter meeting. We went to the summer meetings. The winter meeting comes up in Nashville, and we'll be going to that, and we'll be planning another year.
Wow, so you are deeply rooted in the beef industry. You have deep, deep roots, and you've been heavily involved. Talk about the beef checkoff, and you know, if a consumer goes to the grocery store, how did new cuts come about?
Well, you know, the Cattlemen's Beef Board funds a lot of different things, and in Denver, we have a culinary place there that it's just like a commercial kitchen. We have two of them, one for consumers that test products that are already out there, that do work on products, but then we also have an institutional place that they do things, a complete kitchen that's set up just like a cafe or a restaurant, wow. A hospital, whatever, and people can call CBB and say, hey, we've got a problem, and we've got trained people that can go in and figure out what that problem is and why it is and help them work it out.
Well, Mr. Smith, I want to thank you for being on this morning. I wish we had more time to talk. Unfortunately, we're on a live television show, and they're telling us to wrap it up. I want to thank you for being on this morning. Like I said, you and your sweet wife for joining us. When we come back, Mitchell Lichty with Country Page. Don't go anywhere.